All right, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about one of the most powerful and, honestly, one of the most dynamic of the four ancient temperaments, the choleric. We're talking about the personality of fire, of pure action, and an absolutely unyielding will.
I mean, you know who I'm talking about, right? That person at work or in your family who just gets things done. They're the one who always has a plan. They see a goal, and it's like nothing else exists. They will move heaven and earth to get there. Well, chances are you're thinking of someone with a choleric temperament. So, let's get under the hood of this personality type. What is the raw material, the fundamental code that really makes a choleric tick? So ancient physicians and philosophers, they linked the choleric to the element of fire. And honestly, it's the perfect metaphor. They react to the world instantly and with this incredible energy. But here's the key. It's not just a flash in the pan. That impression, that reaction, it stays with them. It fuels them, for good or for ill, for a very, very long time.
Okay, check this out. This is where the choleric really comes into sharp focus, especially when you compare them to the others. See their energy level? High and active, just like the super sociable sanguine. But here's the massive difference. Look at emotion duration. A sanguine's feelings, they're fleeting, but the choleric's emotions are deep and long-lasting. They hold on to goals, ambitions, and yeah, they hold on to grudges too. And it all comes back to their primary need, right there at the bottom, control and results. That is the engine driving every single thing they do.
So with that kind of raw material, it's absolutely no surprise that cholerics have this incredible set of strengths. When their fire is focused, they are nothing short of a force of nature. For a choleric, doing nothing is like being in a cage. They are just hardwired to be practical, sharp, and to act rather than just sit around and theorize. They don't just start projects, they finish them. They see obstacles not as walls, but as kind of fun puzzles to solve. And that supreme self-confidence, it's not just arrogance, it's the fuel that lets them build companies, lead movements, and drive progress when everyone else is still hesitating.
And you can just see the echoes of this temperament all throughout history. This quote from Antonio Royo Marin absolutely nails it. These are the personalities who have shaped empires and founded institutions. Their natural orientation is always towards leadership and getting massive things done on a grand, world-changing scale.
But, and you knew there was a but, every fire, if you leave it unchecked, can burn completely out of control. The very same strengths that make a choleric a great leader can, without discipline, become their most destructive weaknesses. And their number one fault? It's pride.
You see, because they're so confident in their own abilities, they could become completely convinced that they are always right. So they push, they order, they control. They can become so laser-focused on the goal that they fail to see the people around them as actual human beings. Instead, people become resources or obstacles on the path to their objective. And their go-to negative emotion? Anger. It just flares up instantly whenever their will is blocked.
And this right here, this is the deep pain a choleric can cause. In their passionate race towards a goal, they can just run right over feelings, dignity, and freedom without a second thought. To them, it's just about being efficient, but to everyone else, it feels like cruelty. They can leave a trail of wounded people in their wake and genuinely have no idea why everyone is so upset.
And it all boils down to this one fundamental tension. Their entire being is geared towards achieving results and maintaining control. So, what's their greatest fear? The one thing that's guaranteed to trigger their anger and their pride? It's the feeling of losing that control. If you get this, you get the choleric. So, is the choleric just doomed to be a successful but lonely tyrant? No, not at all. This is where the real work begins. See, the goal isn't to extinguish the fire, but to forge it into something strong and beautiful.
This is such a powerful idea to get your head around. We can't change our innate temperament. That's the hand we're dealt, right? But what we can do is choose to cultivate habits or virtues that compensate for our natural blind spots. This is how we build character. A choleric's first gut reaction might be anger, but their second, more intentional reaction can be one of patience and self-control.
So for the choleric, whose primary vice is pride, the number one remedy is humility. Now, humility isn't about thinking less of yourself, it's about thinking of yourself less. It's the simple, profound truth that your incredible talents are gifts, not some personal achievement you just conjured out of thin air. And humility isn't just a nice idea, it's a practice. It means intentionally asking for advice, which, for their self-reliant nature, is just awful. It means biting your tongue when you're desperate to prove someone wrong. It means doing something helpful, like cleaning a common space at work, where there is zero chance of getting credit for it. These small acts, over time, slowly reshape the soul.
So when a choleric actually embarks on this path of self-knowledge and virtue, something amazing happens. Their power isn't diminished at all. It's channeled. They transform from being a mere leader into a true hero.
Now, it's really important to remember that almost no one is 100% one temperament. We're all blends, we're all cocktails. A secondary temperament can provide a natural counterbalance to the choleric's intensity. For example, a choleric with a sanguine secondary will have an easier time with humility because that sanguine side really wants to be liked. A choleric melancholic, on the other hand, will be more thoughtful and a little less impulsive.
And this knowledge is so incredibly practical, especially for parents. You can't just crush a choleric child's will. You have to redirect it. Give them a challenge like, I bet you can't get this room clean in 10 minutes. Put them in charge of a task. When you discipline them, stay calm. The second you get angry, you've entered their arena, and trust me, you've already lost. And give them choices. You can do your homework now or after dinner. That honors their need for control while keeping you in charge.
But here's a crucial one. What happens if you are the high-energy choleric parent and you have a quiet, sensitive child? Well, your natural strength can be completely overwhelming. You might think everything is fine because the child is obedient, but they might just be obedient because they're afraid. Think about it. A child who says yes to you 100% of the time is saying no to their own needs 100% of the time. You have to create a safe space for them to be themselves, or you risk them shutting down completely.
And this brings us right back to the immense potential of this temperament. When that powerful will is aligned with a virtuous goal, with humility, with compassion, with service, the choleric can achieve absolutely incredible things for the good of others. Their tenacity sees the most difficult, grinding work all the way through to completion.
So ultimately, the choleric fire is a gift, no question. It can be used to dominate and conquer for selfish ends, or it can be harnessed to serve, to build, and to protect. The difference isn't in the raw material of the temperament, but in the character that's forged by virtue. So the question for every choleric, and for those of us who love them, is how to direct that incredible energy, not just for success, but toward a light that warms the world.